Okay, so we're going to call this regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order for Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, any public on with us tonight? I don't think we see anybody, so we'll move on to correspondence. I don't think there's anything there. First Selectmen's report, two things. Number one is, I'm sure you've read the paper, the vaccines have arrived in the state of Connecticut. They have not arrived in the Danbury area. They are expected to arrive at the New Vance facilities, New Vance Health Systems, otherwise known as Danbury Hospital Group, tomorrow or possibly Thursday. And vaccinations will commence immediately. The protocol is that medical workers, frontline medical workers, are first in line, and not everybody. I actually spoke to a nurse today who does not work a COVID floor where she has direct contact with patients, so she will be in the second group. And then medical first responders like EMT folks, fire, police will be in the group behind them. Just so you know, there's quite a bit of consternation about that. There are rumors flying around that some towns are getting the vaccines before others, that some groups are getting the vaccine before others that are out of order, that they've been promised. Some towns are actually kind of making the situation even a little bit worse by offering to put people's names on a waiting list. And that is very contrary to state guidance on those things. And excuse me, creating a little bit of a not so much a panic, but creating some angst among citizens. I spoke with Laura, and Tom Galliford and I spoke about it today. We really have no data at this point as to when that virus will, I keep saying virus, the vaccine will be available in Bethel, and we'll start vaccinating our first responders. We are literally expecting that information like any hour now. Tonight possibly Laura could get the information, or tomorrow sometime she could get the information. But we will commence the minute that is available. Laura's, as I've said before, Laura's department has done a great job doing all the paperwork, interfacing with the state, and having, she's already brought on board nurses and other medical people with training to assist in vaccine distribution and administration. So we will be ready as soon as it is in our town. So I'll keep you informed on that. Item number two, just keep you informed. You may recall a couple of months ago that you might have read, I think we've talked at one of the meetings, that I was, I guess I should say, drafted as a co-chair in a Department of Energy and Environmental Protection effort to revamp the recycling laws and procedures in the state of Connecticut. This has to do with the closure of the Mira waste to energy plant in Hartford, which is going to be shutting down in 2021, and is throwing the entire waste management and recycling process in the state into turmoil, because without, there's only two, they call them burn plants, waste to energy. They're really incinerator plants, because it takes almost as much energy to burn garbage as it does to create energy from it. But they do operate, but there's only two. There's one in Hartford, which is the Mira plant, and it is aging out. It would cost something like $150 million to refurbish it, and the state is unwilling to put the money into it. The Wheelabrator plant is the one that we use in this area, which is down in Bridgeport, and that is probably aging out in not too many years down the road. It's still operating, but it's a smaller plant. It's a little bit newer, but it is also in distress. So what that means is a lot of garbage is going to wind up getting trucked out of state to go into landfills, which is very contrary to the state's overall recycling plan as well as the federal government. So Commissioner Katie Dykes, Commissioner of Deep, enlisted the support of me and Laura Francis, who was the first select woman of the town of Durham. And between the three of us, Commissioner Dykes and Laura and myself, we are chairing an effort to revamp the waste management recycling system in Connecticut, and we will be having our second to last planning meeting tomorrow morning. Basically, this is going to try to restructure how things are recycled. One of the initiatives is a program called EPR. It stands for Enhanced Producer Responsibility. Paul, you may, in your years in Europe, you may already be familiar with one of these things. And
Oh, yeah, yes.
I'll just talk a little bit about one of my experiences about 15 years ago when I was on a business trip in Germany. I saw a customer at a store buy a flat screen TV, and the store staff carried the TV out to her car. And I thought, wow, that's great customer service. But then what they did was they unwrapped the TV, put the TV in the car, and then they took all that packaging material, the cardboard, the styrofoam, they took it back in the store because under German law, that stuff has to go back. You don't throw it away.
To the manufacturer.
And it turns out that the United States is way, way behind the rest of the world in working with manufacturers to make materials that are more easily recyclable and then recoverable. So the task force that I'm personally heading up is the EPR task force to make recommendations to the state legislature, along with things like food digestion, anaerobic digestion, and composting, and revamping the bottle bill to collect more glass and keep that from going into the waste stream. So we have 75 municipalities that have signed on to support the effort, which is outstanding. 75 out of 169 towns in Connecticut are supporting this. And this will result in an educational program that's going to go out to the state to get other towns on board with things like the EPR programs that we do have in place, like paint care and mattress care and electronics recycling, but will also become part of the legislative agenda when the legislature kicks off. And I think that starts on January 6th or 7th. So kind of an exciting thing. I will send my colleagues the materials that come out of this. We're going to be looking at presenting to the overall group the initial recommendations for all the different subgroups, which include revamping the price structure of how trash is paid for, EPR, digestion, and how to finance and give grants back to towns to offset the costs that they have in operating their transfer stations. So something I've been doing in my spare time, as they say, for the last 4 months. Dion knows how much spare time there actually is, which is not much. But that's my report for tonight. And Rich and Paul, do you guys have any questions or anything to add? Any other topics you want to bring up?
Just one thing, Matt, on that subject. I remember when I was in Europe, everything had to go back to the manufacturer, such as styrofoam, cardboard, the whole 9 yards. So back then, now this is going back several years ago, but we were looking into biodegradable products.
Mm-hmm.
And I know in Germany, like you said, was the first one to impose that upon us. And you know, there's a lot of research in this particular area and product that's abroad that is biodegradable,
Mm-hmm.
but it's imposed by the various federal governments there.
Yeah.
One other question is, I think I'd like to sometime in the future start looking at when we should consider a meeting for the charter revision.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's, I know we'd like to get through this holiday business and also through this COVID crisis so that people can vote on this. But I think, I know we've got it until what, June?
Yeah.
I believe, to have this completed. I just don't want to allow this to fall around by the wayside, that's all.
Yeah, thank you for that. And no, that is a top of mind thing. My strategy was to complete our initial document on the fire commission to get that over to Marty, and then we can devote some real quality time to the charter.
Good, good.
One other thing I do want to cover, you will remember that we voted several months ago to join, to become part of the PURA investigation into Eversource's response to the tropical storm back in
Right.
August. So we did that. We joined with 3 other towns. We joined with New Fairfield, Newtown, and Ridgefield. And I did want to let you know that the formal investigation did begin yesterday. So the 4 of us, the 4 first selectmen from those towns, were first. This is an investigation that kicked off yesterday at 10 o'clock. And it will go through the first week of January before hearings are closed. So it's a very, very thorough process. Because our panel was first, and because Bethel starts with a B, I got to be witness number 1.
Wow.
Sworn in yesterday. I was in the Zoom witness box for 5.5 hours yesterday, which included 60 minutes of cross-examination by Eversource lawyers. It was quite an experience. I'm sure that if you're suffering from insomnia some night, there'll probably be a way you can look at that video. But the testimony was, we were cross-examined by DEEP staff, environmental protection staff, Office of Consumer Counsel, Office of the Attorney General, and the commissioners themselves of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. So it was quite an experience, but ultimately our attorneys tell us that our testimony was extremely well received. The cross-examination did not poke any holes in the positions that we took. I did watch part of it today. My part of it is over with now. That concluded about 5 o'clock about 5 in the afternoon yesterday. But I watched some of the testimony today while I was doing other things. The towns of Westport, Monroe, and Weston all testified with identical concerns as we have. So, and there will be another 10 or 15 towns testifying over the next couple of days. So the commission appears to be very predisposed to giving us some regulatory relief for future storms and making sure that we have a much better response from the utility in the future.
Good deal. Good.
Yeah.
Hey,
Rich, go ahead.
Matt, I'd just like to take this opportunity to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or whatever they might celebrate this holiday. It's just around the corner. It's next week. So,
Yep, before we forget. Thank you.
Likewise here, but be safe, and we'll see, I guess, each other next year, or talk to each other next year.
Yeah, that's right, because this will be the last meeting of the year.
All right.
All right, so if there's no further things, there is one thing I'm going to make a motion to add to the agenda. We'll make it item 6B. Actually, we'll make it item 8. So, because we don't have to make the fire folks wait any longer than necessary. And this is put a motion on the floor to approve a public health preparedness grant and memo of understanding between the Bethel Department of Health and the Torrington Department of Health on a grant to provide funding for additional resources. So so I'm going to make that make a motion that we make that item number 8 on the agenda. Is there a second?
second.
All right. Any other discussion on that? All right.
So you sent the information to us. I read it, so
Right.
it's pretty lengthy.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So that'll be item number 8. So couple of things to knock off real quick. Consideration of the minutes of the special meeting of November 18th. I'll make a motion that we accept those minutes.
Second.
Second by Paul. Any discussion, any changes? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
that carries. Second one is, I'll put a motion on the floor that we accept the minutes of the special meeting of December 8th.
Second.
And Rich seconds. Any discussion on those? And hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that carries. Moving on to item number 6, consideration of the regular meeting schedule for the calendar year 2021. Deanne has prepared that schedule and it is in your packet. It goes out through January 18th of 2022. So I'll put a motion on the floor that we accept the regular meeting schedule.
Second.
Second by Paul. Paul got his hand up faster than Rich. Any conflicts that you know of in there? And hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that is adopted. Okay, consideration of the Fire Commission directional document. So this is not the final deal, of course. This has to be drafted to into language. But what Dion has prepared for us, you've got a draft document. It is exactly the same document as we reviewed at the previous regular meeting. What she did was, you'll see underneath the areas that were discussed, she put the consensus items in yellow that we discussed by each one of those things. So if there are no further changes, I mean, I'm going to put a motion on the floor that we accept this document with these changes, and then we'll clean it up and send it to Marty. But before I put that motion on the floor, I wanted to know from Rich and Paul, do you have any other adjustments or comments?
Yes.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, let's go to the first sentence, and maybe it's semantics on my part. It's says where it says the town of Bethel intends to create a board of fire commissioners, which would be a new organ. I prefer an organization.
Okay, okay.
Okay, and the second issue that I've got, and maybe I'm in error here, but it's on page 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Where you have, it's in red. It says, note current members of the volunteer fire companies are not precluded from serving on the commission. Now, I thought we discussed saying that if they would, this would create an imbalance between the two fire departments. You don't want to have somebody who is an active member,
Yeah.
and on there, let's say if you have a person from Bethel or Stony Hill, would we have an imbalance? And that's the way I think it would be viewed. I prefer to say, just strike on that, to say, that's just me, but maybe I'm misinterpreting this, that just current members of the volunteer departments are pre-concluded from serving.
Okay, so are precluded?
In other words, they can't serve.
Okay. Do you have the copy that has the yellow above it that says that the exit,
That's okay there.
Yeah.
But not as a member of the 4 or 5 people that we're going to have who are the
Okay.
official commissioners.
Okay.
That's my issue.
All right.
Well, that might be a technical question because all the, well, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe the chiefs can answer this. Former chiefs who have served on the ad hoc truck committee were members, some of them are still members of the department. So,
well, are they considered to be active if they're retired?
Well, I don't, that's the question.
Yeah.
Now, the only active member would have been Chief Ingram is still active.
Okay.
Chief Dibble's retired. Chief Valenti's retired. Yeah, the only one active was Chief Ingram.
Okay.
It's Tom. I think the consensus is we would have a member from each fire department on the commission, right? That's the consensus.
As an ad hoc member.
Ad hoc.
Ex officio members.
So I think maybe the wording in the actual ordinance should say that, the 2 fire departments shall appoint or elect a member to represent their fire department on the fire commission, right? There should be wording like that. Like in Newtown, that's what they do. Newtown has 5 fire companies. Every fire company has a member from their department that's on the commission. They're either appointed or elected by their fire department to serve on that commission. So I think
As
the word-
ex officios.
I'm not sure whether
That's the issue here. That's the issue. Paul is talking about having them being regular voting members, what it says there. But what was discussed at the last meeting, and Matt has outlined here, is that we're going to have ex officio members for each fire department. And to be honest, I don't think it should go in the document how we're going to tell the fire departments how they're going to put the person in. Let them decide how to do that.
Yeah,
But I think that the issue is, are you going to have firemen who are going to be legitimate voting members or not?
No. Advisors only as an ex officio.
So then this part, Paul, that you were talking about basically comes out. The part where it says current members of the volunteer fire departments are not precluded from serving on the commission subject to appointment of the board of selectmen. And what's going to be left is what's up the top.
yeah,
That
Yeah,
that the
okay,
commission will have ex officio members.
that's fine. That's
okay.
fine.
I think that was the intent to begin with. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
so we'll strike that.
Okay.
All right,
All right, I had a question too. Matt, on the second page, down after the first paragraph, it says the statement that the fire chief shall report to the commission and or the first selectman. Is that still in there? I mean, how are you going to have the fire chief talking to the two different people, the commission and fire chief?
yeah, I don't,
And then down in the next paragraph, it's the same thing where it says statement.
yeah, I think it has to be to the commission, correct?
I believe so, because otherwise, if
Yeah,
they
you
wanted
can't-
something from the commission and the commission said no, then they go to the selectman and the selectman says yes, or,
Yeah, you can't, no, you can't have two bosses. That, I agree with that.
okay, so, and both those lines probably should scratch the first selectman count.
All right,
Those were my two comments.
okay. All right. Any other changes?
Nope.
Matt, I sent an email to you and Marty last week, and because I'm always thinking about this stuff. I had just mentioned about to add something there about the LoSAP program, right? The Length of Service Award program, the the awarding of the benefits to members.
Yeah.
That goes to each fire chief now. So I don't know if you want to include that, as well as something with the tax abatement program about the eligibility, and maybe the commission reviews the list that the fire chiefs give, and so that way it's just another layer where the fire chiefs say, okay, this, because right now we have to the fire chiefs sign an affidavit for the LoSAP saying this person meets the requirements.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to add that, and then maybe the commission at some point will set kind of the criteria for the tax abatement, or maybe the fire commission can then make changes to the tax abatement ordinance that exists currently. If they want to make any changes to it, it would come through them. So I'm just trying to make this
Yeah.
the best fire commission it can be and cover
Yeah.
everything that we want it to cover. And I just
Yeah.
think the
That,
LoSAP and tax abatement are two important
Yeah.
items that they should have some say over.
that's a good point, Tommy, because we've had problems with figuring out who and when people were. So like you said, it'd be another layer of organization to keep track of everybody.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, we will endeavor to make that language as flexible as possible, because when it comes to eligibility for tax abatement, there may be state statutes that come into play, or could be in the future. And LoSAP, that we've got the present population on LoSAP, but those companies don't do that stuff anymore, so there won't be any in the future. But yeah, we can craft something that leaves that in the commission's hands to the degree that allowed by law. How's that?
Yeah, I just want to make sure we cover as much as we can. So when Marty goes to write this, he doesn't have to go back and change it too much, and we cover as much of the the items that we need to that, we will want to deal with. So
All right. Thank you for that suggestion. That's good. Anything else?
No.
Okay, Rich, do you have anything else?
No, that was a good catch on Tommy's part. Thank you.
I like that Tom is always thinking.
Mhm.
All right, in that case, I'm going to put a motion on the floor that we forward this directional document to the town attorney. We'll of course retype it.
Matt,
Yes,
I'm sorry. So you made a motion to accept the documents with the highlighted changes.
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody seconded that.
I'll second it.
Paul's going to second it.
okay,
And then we're going to make a motion to amend that with the discussion that you just had.
well, I think we can just do that under one motion to
Okay.
forward this as amended tonight to the town
Okay.
attorney. Because we're going to
Okay.
have to, because it's still got to go through public hearings and there
Mm-hmm.
could be more changes. So it's not like we're chiseling anything in stone tonight anyway.
Okay. All right. Not trying to be too picky. I just wanted to make sure that the
No.
minutes reflected.
That is absolutely cool. I'm glad you are focused on accuracy. That's good.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to forward this to the town attorney as amended. Any further discussion?
No,
No.
And hearing none, thank you very much. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, that carries, and I did update the timeline on the back, which makes, probably needs to be updated again before we're done with this, but we'll rewrite the language and send it to the town attorney. We'll get going on that. We'll give you status reports along the way. So thank you very much for that. Final item on, hold on just a second. I've got to make one comment here on this thing. Going on to item 8, you have the material on this is the public, this is the memorandum of agreement for Department of Public Health Preparedness Program between the Torrington Area Health District and the Bethel Health Department. This is a grant in the amount of $16,328. It covers the time period 2020 through 2024. And I'll put a motion on the floor that we accept this program subject to final review by town attorney and forward to his office.
A second for discussion.
Okay, floor is open.
Is this the same organization that we've worked with before?
Yes,
The Torrington one?
yep. And as Marty and I were discussing earlier, seems to be an awful lot of reporting requirements for $16,000, but it does, Laura is able to get some use out of this. So anything that can help her department, because they're pretty slammed with work to do these days. So, yep, same one. That's a continuing.
Just one more time, who was the grant from?
It's from the State Department of Health.
Oh,
But
okay.
so by teaming, it's one of those things to promote regional efficiencies by teaming up with Torrington. Each town gets some money to increase, their reach, get some more additional resources.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussion?
Nope.
All right, and hearing none, thank you very much. Thank you to Chief Baker, to Chief Galliford, former Chief Galliford, and Chief Murphy. Appreciate your involvement, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I didn't hear a vote.
Wait,
I
yeah,
didn't hear a vote on the last motion.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, now I'll entertain. Sorry. Thanks, Marty. All right.
So moved.
So moved by Richie.
Rich has got a question.
No, I'm moving to adjourn.
All right.
All right, I'll second.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That carries. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night. And Dion,
Happy holidays, everybody.
Merry
Happy
Christmas,
holidays.
Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, and Dion, I'll get to see you tomorrow, right?
Yes.
You're sprung.
Yes. See you later. Bye-bye.